Yeah. I think it's oh my god. What no man can do. So sorry, welcome. Hey, Lizzie Charles Ministries, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Please, if you're up to 1K, help me share the video out. Can you just tell me if you can hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? Am I audible? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining. So we're talking about thank you, Amaka. Thank you for joining though. So please, when you come on, make your presence known, leave a message. And then we're talking about boarding house. You also let us know whether you attended the boarding house or you have a loved one who attended the boarding house in secondary school. Let us know. Please leave a comment. Tell us if you were a boarder or a day student when you were in secondary school. And you can also leave the name of your school if that's okay by you. Thank you for joining, Amaka. Please let us know if you attended the boarding house. If you've had first-hand experience with boarding house, let us know. Let us know if you have a family member, maybe your brother or sister, who was a boarder. Okay, you were a day student. That's good. Let us know so we can share the experience. Welcome. If you come, you make your presence known. Welcome, Matilda. Thank you for coming. Please share out the video. Share it out to your community. You can also share it out to Facebook or wherever. Just share it out. Share it out. Then you let us know if you attended the boarding house or if you were a day student during your secondary school days. Very important. Or if you have a family member, maybe a brother or a sister. Thank you. Maybe a brother. Thank you, Matilda. Thank you. If you have a brother or sister who attended the boarding house, let us know. We're here to rub minds. We're here to share experiences. We're here to talk about the way forward. In those days, there was a song that said, we are the leaders of tomorrow. So our children are singing the song now. They are the leaders of tomorrow. We're supposed to be the leaders of this present generation, but we don't want to talk about that. We're not ready for that conversation yet. We're leading in our own way. Um, Okay, same with me. I was a day student from my JS1 up to my JS3. I entered the boarding house in my JSS 3. Okay, Lucy Charles Ministry said I was both a day student in Omako Urban Girls and in Edwards. I was in the boarding house. Yeah, I had that dual citizenship. That's what we call it. Dual citizenship. I was at some point a day student. JS1, JS2, I was a day student. JS3, I went into the boarding house. Yes, so welcome, Irene. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Please tell us your experience. Tell us if you were a boarder or a day student, or if you have a brother or a sister who was in the boarding house. Share it with us. Thank you for joining. So, since we have some people on, let us have that crucial conversation. It is very important. In the past 1 year, 3 students have died. That's the one we heard about. That is the one we heard about. They are the ones that their parents spoke out. What about the ones we don't hear about? I've not forgotten. I want you to just to just tell everyone here. Definitely, I've not forgotten. But for the sake of people who don't know you, you can leave it here. Yeah. So in the past 1 year, 3 children have died. Let me not just call them students. 3 children, 3 families have been put in mourning. 3 children have died. 3 boarders have died. They are the ones that we hear their story. These days, we're in the era of social media. We bring things to social media. In our own generation, we cannot say whether these things were documented. That is because nobody was going on Facebook and nobody. Thank you, Mercy. Welcome, Mercy. That is because nobody was going on Facebook to say this is. In fact, people were not speaking out. People were not speaking out. In this part of the world, we have the culture of left and for God, live and for God. God will take vengeance. God will judge. God will fight for you. The battle is of the Lord's. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. So, not many people are actively involved in bringing justice to lots of culprits. Not many people are actively involved. For a lot of abuse cases, physical abuse, sexual abuse, not many people are involved in it. Of course, we know about Don Davis. When the mother came out, she was at risk of, in fact, people were even telling her, why are you exposing your son like this? Why are you doing this? Why are you bringing him out? Do you know he will be stigmatized? A lot of people were saying that. But the woman chose to still be bold and still talk about, she just wanted justice for her son. And from what we hear, she's about getting the justice. In fact, I say that social media is the most powerful tool we have now. Yep. I said I attended FGDC Owerri. They bother. I ran out so they won't kill me. They had a thing for bullying fair and beautiful girls out of jealousy. Okay, that's my alma mater. Truly, let me share this. And if that was how, in fact, with this whole bullying thing, I've been thinking, like, I've been reflecting, I've been looking back, I've even been asking myself if I was a bully. That's the question I've been asking myself. I've been saying, were you a bully? Was I a bully? Because there was this thing. Yes, so we were stubborn. We were stubborn. We were stubborn. Really, we were stubborn. Recently, I've been asking myself, with everything that is happening, I've been asking please, when you come around, make your presence known. Leave a comment, tell us you're here, and tell us if you were a day student or a boarder. And then I've been asking, was I a bully? That's because when you are a junior student, you get bullied. Whether you like it or not, you get bullied. The only way you don't get bullied, then, I'm talking about then in the school. I said I attended FGGC, where if you don't get bullied, it means you have a senior who is protecting you. Okay, child, you're quite high, Jesus. She said, I used to spit in my water. It's true. I did it. I will not lie about that. So, and then there was this, you're waiting to get to become a senior. When you get bullied as a junior student, you wait till you become a senior so that you can bully the junior ones. I'm using that heavy word, bully. As at then, we were not calling it bully. Sorry, please let me. Sorry, I had to mute it. These children of God will not allow me to, talk in peace. They will come here, and my kids are not they're not the kinds of kids that will not scatter. They will come here and they will scatter this whole place. So whenever I'm doing some kinds of video, I just keep them at bay. Okay, so you wait. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. As a conscious adult, you hear statements like hurt people, hurt people. People who were hurt, or people who are hurting, or people who have been hurt, they are the ones who hurt people. It's like a vicious cycle that keeps getting repeated. Now it goes two ways. I was so bullied. I was bullied so much more that a senior student made me swear with the Bible. That's so sad to hear. That's so sad to hear. I didn't enter in my JS1. I know that people get more bullied when as soon as they start JS1, JS2. Ah, yes. Yeah, we call it, Irene says we call it being tech, but truth is that we never had the opportunity because we got different hostels. Yes. As soon as I entered, of course, I think I had a little bit of shield. My form mistress, we look alike. We look alike, and people were thinking she was related to me. Not not only do we look alike, but I think when I came, my mom spoke with her, and she was the person who personally handed me over to a senior. So people were just thinking we were related. She's my height, as tall as I am. People not very, very tall. She's my height and all that. So people go about repeating that cycle. When you say hurt people in this scenario, apart from those who were bullied, bullying others, people who are hurt from their homes. It's not just negligence on parents' part. Negligence is a factor. It's that active bullying on parents' part. Now imagine a child who is in a family where abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, every kind of abuse is the order of the day. The child learns. Subconsciously, the child learns. Some children even learn consciously. And then when they go about, and then when they go out, they start practicing. Sorry about that. Now when they go out, they start practicing that which takes place in their home. So let's talk about it. The real topic is, would you send your kids to the boarding house? What are the advantages of boarding house? Why do parents send their kids to the boarding house? Seeing what is there a problem? Do you have a problem with boarding house? What are the pros? What are the cons of being a boarder, sending your kids out there? Let's talk. We'll start with the first question. Would you send your kids to the boarding house? Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Would you send your kids to the boarding house? Seeing what is happening, would you? Let me know. If you're still on, let me know. Would you do that? Would you send your kids to the boarding house? Personally, welcome, Irene. Welcome. Leave a comment. Tell us if you were a boarder or a day student. And then you answer the question we're asking now. Would you send your kids to the boarding house? If yes, why? If no, why? Let us know. Personally, I've always loved boarding house. Yes. In fact, I requested to be sent to the boarding house. I schooled in the same city where we live. I grew up in Owerri. I schooled in Owerri. So I loved that. I wanted to be in the boarding house. I requested for. Yeah. Let us know. Lizzie Charles Mitchell say yes, because there are also many advantages. Let us know, what are the advantages of boarding house? What are the advantages? What were you able to pick out when you were a boarder? What has boarding house given to you? Let us know so that we can rub minds and we can learn. Okay, Irene says, I can't send any of my kids. Irene Henry says, I can't send any of my kids to boarding school. What are your reasons? Let us know, Irene. Let us know. So I wanted boarding house because I wanted freedom. Yeah. I came from a very strict background. I wanted freedom. Do you know what it means? That you will just go there, you will be taking care of only yourself. You're not going to be washing plates. Mommy is not there to shout on you. My dad is not there to shout on you, and all that. That was my motivation for entering the boarding house. Going, you have provisions of your own that you will eat. There were stupid reasons, but those were my reasons. You have provisions of your own. You just drink your tea when you want to drink your tea. You eat your biscuits. You take your golden more cornflakes. You just take those things when you want to. That was what made me to say I want to be a boarder. And then when you come back, there's this prestige that comes with the matter. Mary says, oh, this boarding house matter tire me. Yes, the matter reach to tire person. So that was my motivation. Maybe let us know, were you a boarder, and would you send your kids to the boarding house? So my motivation of entering the boarding house was those childish things. I wanted my freedom. I wanted to be eating provisions. Those were the things that made me, and I just wanted, there was prestige, when you go to school and come back to the house. It's different now. More people in the neighborhood, people in the area, they will not be looking at you with the same eyes. That was my own motivation. Upon getting to the boarding house, hey God. Irene said, depends on the facility. It makes them independent. I can send my kids, but I'll make sure they don't have any reasons to cry or regret, because I'll be the mother hen that follows back to back. That is what Irene said. Yeah, that's great. Mary they says, I can't send my kids to boarding school. Mary, tell us why. Amaka said, I never say never because I don't know the future. It depends on how my spirit is led at that time. Both boarding and day has their pros and cons. That is right. Boarding and day has their pros and cons. I really say right from time my mom has this hatred for boarding school because she attended boarding school and swore that none of her children will attend boarding school because of the ill treatment meted out. Lizzie Child said that freedom enables a child to be his or herself, not depending on you as a parent. So yes, that is true. Now, my mom used to drum it in our ears then as children. We will spread clothes. We will spread clothes outside. Where we lived, we spread on our balcony. So we'll just spread it there, and in the night we will not go and bring in the clothes. My mom will keep saying, when it's dark, bring in your clothes. Bring in your clothes when it's dark. So if you're living in a public compound, this is how you will leave your clothes outside. My mom kept drumming it, and we were children. Did we learn? I entered boarding house now. The clothes I can never forget, one nightwear, this house coat kind of nightwear that my mom, bought for me. In fact, I washed my clothes and spread them on the lawn. I spread them on Friday. I did not see them on Saturday. I did not see them. I didn't even know what was happening. I didn't know that early morning on Saturday, they will pack all the clothes on the lawn and take to laundry because they are preparing they're preparing the hostel for inspection. I didn't know. The place they call laundry is where they drop all sorts of abandoned clothes. And when your clothes gets missing, you go to the laundry and look for it. If you don't see it, you look for the one that can size you there and wear. So that is to say that if your clothes ever makes it to the laundry, chances are you can never find it. You are in blue house and somebody in purple house might pick it up and the person will be wearing it. Let's say the person is even, of course, shirt is the same for everyone. Let's say the person is in SS3, you might not see your clothes again. So when my clothes got missing, I realized that thing that my mom said. that thing my mom has been hammering and drumming into our ears, that you should bring in your clothes at night. That was when I realized it and I started applying it. With time, that independence is one of the advantages. Mary Bay said the freedom kids want for going to boarding house, seniors are not even allowing them to enjoy it. Irene Henry says it's as if that notion of feeling was passed down to me. I prefer, okay, yeah, your mom's notion. I prefer my children growing under my tutelage. There are lots of things I need to watch out in them to know when things are right or wrong. At least try my best to put them in the right track immediately. Yeah. Now, the boarding house is parents. Why do people send their kids to the boarding house? One of the reasons I see in this time and age is these children, number one, the children need to be catered for financially. Parents are busy. Parents are busy trying to make ends meet. Parents are busy trying to make ends meet. So, yeah, Mary says, I would rather have them come back home to me daily in case there are changes in behavior or countenance. I can notice and have them share before it becomes too late. Yeah, parents are busy, so they need where they can keep their children so that they can hustle. Because these children, it's not something that they will eat, though. It's money that they will eat. I've heard of people who send their kids, children that are as early as 1 year old, to the boarding house. Recently, I saw a post where women were saying, parents were like, how can you send your 1 year old kids to the boarding house, this and that. I don't judge shoes that I've never walked in. I think the most important factor is the kind of school. Recently, my cousin sent his daughter to the boarding house. She has been there for a term, and she's looking good. She's looking as good as robust as she was looking when she entered, as fair as she's fairer than I am, as fair as she was when she entered. She is looking well fed. She is looking healthy. She's been there one term. We went to visit her last week, and so far she's looking okay. She says there's nothing they don't eat. In fact, when you're coming, yes, the kind of school is the Charles Wilson said the kind of school matters a lot, and I agree with you. In fact, when you're coming, you don't need to bring much. They say they are being served chicken, they are being served eggs. It's not a very high-paying school. They say they are served any kind of food. They are being well fed and they are not being bullied per se. When we attended the boarding house, there was bullying, but not to this level. You see this kind of bullying that would make you lock a child in the locker? In the locker? No. That kind of bullying was not, I didn't experience it in my school. I did not. If you experience extreme bullying, I think recently I shared a post on my community, a guy who was physically challenged that was getting married. He got his physical challenge from the boarding house. A fellow student hit him on the spine. Yeah, Mary says there's bullying in school generally, but boarding school seems to be so much more, resulting in self-esteem issues. I agree with that. The reason I agree is if your child is being bullied in school as a day student, you will get to know on time and you will go to school and defend your child. But in boarding house, it's only maybe visiting day, or if some children won't even open up. Remember that this bullying comes with threatening. Most of the bullies threaten to do this and that to you if you talk. So yes, it's worse in the boarding house. I really say, even now that my kids are very small, I check out on them, I ask them questions. In fact, I try as much as possible to know everything going on in their lives. Yes, my son is a little bit above 3 years. I check on him. There was a day he came back, and one thing I'm teaching my kids early to do is to stand up for themselves, to defend themselves. My parents taught us to defend ourselves. I know they find trouble. Oh. That was then. Oh, now I no get hands to even. I no get. You will not see me anywhere near trouble. Then growing up, I didn't used to look for trouble, but don't look for my trouble. Don't even try it. I was what they call a talo fighter. Don't you dare look for my trouble, because I will give it to you with my mouth, with my whole body. I was going to give it to you. So my parents, especially my dad, my mom is this Christian mother that wants to please God in everything. But my dad, he's a Christian father, yeah, but not that kind of Christian father. My father will reward you for beating somebody that wants to beat you. That's the kind of person my father is. So that's how we grew up. And I tell my kids, defend yourself. My son is calm. My son has this kind personality. Yeah, Henry says, I know if I can create that bond, they will be comfortable around me, discussing with me anything that goes on in their lives. Yeah, that is one thing. That is one thing our parents, some of our parents, so I know in our own time we had some new generation parents. My parents were old school parents. Some of our parents had that kind of bond. Now we're beginning to look at discipline in a whole new light. Discipline then and discipline now is not the same thing. Now parents are forming that relationship. Some parents were doing it then, but not. In fact, the majority of the parents, we don't have time. They did not have time for rubbish. Yeah. Irene Watcher Irene says, I know your bad mouth will be here. True, I get bad mouth though. The Holy Spirit is working in me now to make me not to have bad mouth again. I'm doing my best. But then, yeah, I had a very terrible mouth. Now, it was in the body house that I knew that you cannot tell somebody, welcome, Mandy, join in the conversation. We're talking, were you a boarder? Were you a day student? Let us know. And would you send your kids to the boarding house? Let us know with your reasons. The first time I entered the first time a senior wanted to send me on an errand, I was going for prep. It was time for prep. And the senior was like, I should go and buy this. I said, I'm senior, please, I'm sorry, I can't go. I did not know that you cannot tell a senior, I can't. Like, I can't. I didn't know it was wrong English to tell seniors. Hi, God of Nazareth. And then she told me to go and kneel down somewhere. I disappeared. One skill that I learned very, very well in the boarding house was the act of disappearing. I could disappear. I zapped a lot. I will zap and zap. I zapped a lot. So that was when I started realizing that you can't even express yourself freely in front of some seniors. By expressing yourself freely, I'm going for prep. I'm going for prep, and I'm telling you that I'm going for prep. And you said I can't say I can't. I did not know. In fact, lots of things, but not up to this level. So now parents should endeavor to pay attention to your kids. Discipline is not shutting your kid up. Discipline is not shutting your kid down. Discipline in this part of the world, that is why discipline is not controlling your kids. You need to be in control of the atmosphere around your kids, of certain things, of certain choices that they make, even as you need to help your children know how to make the right choices. That the reason I have a problem with the word submission when Nigerian people use it is people who want to lord over others, people who want to control others. Those are the people, they misuse that word submission. I think everything starts in the home. Discipline should have a whole new meaning. Respect. What does respect mean to you? When your kids respect you, does it mean that anything you say, your kids should nod their head like Agam and Lizard? I'm not just saying it out there. Um, yes, Mandy says you can't. Yes, not when you're a junior senior. Yes, as a junior senior, you can't say I can't. I senior, I cannot do this. You cannot. You dare not. So, discipline is not raising timid children. Children who don't have a voice of their own. I'm speaking to myself too. I am speaking to myself because there are times my son tells me, see what he wants to do. My battery is getting low. There are times my son tells me, see what he wants to do. And there's something I want him to do. He's little. He's just a little bit above 3. And now he has started knowing that he wants to do this. He wants to wear this. And sometimes I'm under pressure. Maybe we're rushing for church and I brought out your clothes and you're telling me you don't want to wear this. I'm talking to myself. I'm finding this parenting thing a bit tasky. And I get to I'm consciously trying to tell him, this one, you have to wear it today. Tomorrow you will wear this one. As opposed to shouting on him and telling him you have to wear this one because I said so. So respect, what does respect mean to you? Respect should not be your kids doing everything you ask them to do. That way they are not going to have a mind of their own. Your kids need to be able to make their own choices. They need to be able to know how to speak out. It is very important. I was a very vocal child. I am still a very vocal individual. I cannot stay when something bad is happening. I've talked about it one day on Facebook. I'm like, if I get into trouble and they say, and they said, they mobbed me or they beat me up somewhere, just know that I was standing up for somebody. I think that I was standing up for somebody who could not stand up for him or herself. I think that's most of the problem I get into. Most of the problem I get into is defending people. When I went to primary school, I used to fight almost every day. Almost every day, I used to fight. Now, what was the fight all about? In the compound where we grew up, there were lots of families that had their children in the same school we had where we attended. So we were like family there. And many of them will come and report to me and say, this person did this one to me. This person did this one to me. Me, defend the highest. I will go and I will fight and fight. I fought almost every day. I fought defending people who were being bullied almost every day in primary school. In fact, I fought to the extent that they nicknamed me. People who went to my primary school, Uncle Popsy of blessed memory, I attended Madonna Nursery and Primary School wearing. Uncle Popsy would see two people fighting. If it's a boy and a girl, Uncle Popsy will call the girl Chiquito and call the guy Bobby School. And it's always the guy beating the girl. That's always what happens. Usually guys beat up girls. But men, I fought and fought and fought. And Uncle Popsy, I was always getting into fights because I was defending others. Uncle Popsy one day said, you're no more Chiquito. We're giving you Bobby School. And that was how I started answering Bobby School. Yes, sometimes their choices need to be guided. Guided is the operative word. I'm sweating. Just give me a second. Let me get hanky. Mandovi says, I understand, but sometimes their choices need to be guided because they can't differentiate between good and bad. Guided is the operative word. You guide them. You give them reasons. My dad, you never do anything without having a reason. When you do something, my father will ask you why. You have to explain to him why. What is the why? So we don't just shut our kids up because we think we know better. We help them, we guide them. A lot of people today are in professions that they never dreamt of doing or they never wanted to, because their parents said you have to obey me, you have to respect me. Being a doctor is very good. I know a young boy, a family friend, he always wanted to be a reverend father. That was what he wanted to do. But his parents said he had to go to the university. As soon as the boy graduated and served, he came back and gave his parents the certificates. He got ordained last year. You see how long it took him, to become a reverend father, just because he wanted to please the parents first, but he knew what he wanted to do. They cannot differentiate. We teach them to differentiate. That was what my mom taught me. That was what my dad taught me. I've said it one time on my Facebook. By the way, if you're not on my Facebook, you are missing. Uchechi Njemanze, Uchechi Madonna Oji Njemanze is my Facebook name. So you can go, and I'm more of a writer than a talker. I express myself better in writing than in talking. So you need to follow me on my Facebook. Okay, so what was I saying? I talked about the need to teach your children how to make choices. Lots of problems we have today. You see these marital problems where a woman or a man, parents want to decide who their children will marry. It's all rooted in not letting your children make their choices. You should teach them. You teach them and they do it on their own. So if you feel you've raised them well enough, they should be able to make those choices. We have digressed and talked about lots of things. Let's go back to why we came here. We came here for the boarding house. According to the story from the family of Sylvester, they said that their child spoke out. Not he didn't speak out, but he exhibited signs of timidity. He was jumping, at every sound. You should know. I usually have living helps. What I watch out in my kids is change. There was a time somebody shared about a kid who was being abused, giving poop to eat. That was sometime either beginning of this year or last year. And it was one day that the mom decided to bathe the child, that the mom noticed marks on the child's body. The help had been abusing the child. I said, you have to notice as parents. You have to notice when your children show that they are not comfortable around somebody. When your child is comfortable with your help, you will know. You don't need anyone to tell you. When your child who used to be bubbly starts becoming timid, you would know. Parents are detectives. If you were not alert before, if you were not observant before, you should start observing. One thing that is important as a precaution to take when sending your child into the boarding school has a system. It has a system. At least in my own time, there was a system. You have guidance. A guardian is somebody you hand over your child to and say, take care of my child. You tell your child, when you need anything, go to this person. Because in the boarding house, the children were not allowed access to phones. In the boarding house, there is a system of head counts. I was mad when I heard that a child was locked in the locker for 2 whole days. 2 whole days. There was no head count in the night. Which means if this child had sneaked out of school, nobody will know. If there was head count, there are house masters and house mistresses in the boarding house. A housemaster should have noticed that Sylvester is not on his bed. Okay, let's say there was no head count. What about in school? What about in the class? There are 4 mistresses and 4 masters. Your class teacher, subject teacher should know Sylvester is not in the class. He was not in class on Tuesday. He's not in class today, Wednesday. Where is Sylvester? That is the system. That is the system. So even as you take your child there, don't just dump your child there. Get thy child a guardian. Check on your child. My children are small, and when they are going to school, yeah, most times parents do not have listening ear. When their child complains, they just wave it off. God has given these children in our custody for us to take care of them. Welcome, Cathy Chooks. Welcome. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for coming. God, pay attention to your kids. They're your primary assignment. You're going to answer for them. See, let me tell you, whether you believe in God or not, you will answer for your kids. Even if you don't answer for them in the presence of God, you will answer for them here on earth. I posted on my community, my last post on my community, I talked about a child, a young man that killed the mother. It's a true life story. I know the family. I know the family. This boy, according to the story there, you would read it. This boy, he was into Indian hemp. And in their village, there is a rule against Indian hemp. And when he was arrested by the vigilante and brought to the king's palace for his punishment, the imam almost was insulting the king and saying, my child is innocent. She was defending her child. We ought to defend our children, but not when you know they are wrong. You don't cover shit. You are not being a mother covering shit. And then after that incident, after the woman came and raped, her child was released to her. It was not up to 2 months. This boy killed the mother. It wasn't up to 2 months. The boy killed the mother. Those children, like I said, if you don't answer for them in heaven, whether there's God or not, whether you don't believe in God or not, here on earth, you're going to pay. It's you that will suffer first as a parent. How did he kill the mother? He went out early morning to shine his eye. After taking, when you take that thing, human being becomes nothing. After taking, he came back. This was as early as 7 o'clock in the morning. After taking, he came back, and the father just went to escort a visitor. You were with your wife. You just left to escort a visitor. On coming back, you're meeting your wife in her own pool of blood. When the boy asked the mother for food, the mother could not give food that morning. He used the machete he gave her 3 cuts on the arm, and she died. She bled to death. Of course, we heard the popular story of that one was when we were kids. We heard the story of one of these notorious armed robbers. Notorious armed robbers that when the boy was caught finally and he was to be hung, he said he wants to tell the mother something. Mommy, come close. Let me tell you something. When the mother come close, he used all the might in him to bite off her ears and say, you did not correct me. Some children are not being corrected. And when you want to correct them, the parents will rise and start shouting. That's one thing my parents never did. They will rise and start shouting, leave my child for me. You don't know how I suffered to get this child. You don't know how I suffered to get the child. It will bite you in your bum bum. The monster you raise will eat you up. It will bite your nyash. You will be the first culprit. It's as simple as that. So they have been given to us. They are primary assignment. We need to pay attention to the kids. Watch their body language. Listen to them. When your child comes back, have that conversation. Allow them talk. Let them tell you. My son came back one day and told me, What was that boy's name? That he pushed him. He pushed him down. Okay. What was happening? He pushed him. As at then, he was just about 3. I told him, Hoha, if anybody beats you, beat back. And then I went to the school and I told the teacher, he's complaining. I want to take it that it's, I told the school, what do they call, school manager, that he's complaining of this and that. He stopped complaining, actually. He stopped complaining. So we don't wait till they are so grown. Children start exhibiting from a tender age. You start noticing the traits. When you indulge your kids and give them everything they want, parents cannot give what they don't have, really. The decadence is so high. You cannot give what your children need. My father drummed it. My father drummed it into our ears. My mom drummed it into our ears. I'm not saying that they are parents of the year. They are parents of the year, in fact. I'm saying it. I'm not saying they were perfect, but they did their best. Within the limits of their knowledge, they did their best. My dad said, if you go out there, you will answer for it. He made it clear to us that if you get into trouble, you're going to answer. Your children need to know that they'll be held accountable. My mom says, if you get into trouble, you will answer. And I will not even beg your dad, or I will not ask your dad, or I'm not going to be present. So it was clear to us. We knew we were going to be held accountable. Yes, and if you can't correct, change. If you can't correct and change at that tender age, then you have missed it. You start correcting. Start teaching them how to be polite, how to be nice, how to be kind, how to help. The milk of compassion, they ought to drink it. I believe parenting is a two-way thing. It's not just the mother, the father. And then we are Africans. We are Africans. I know we are in the modern world. They say, it's not one person that raises a child. In our own time, if you're doing something wrong and see somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows your mother, hey God, you are just. But it's no longer like that. Now everybody is minding his or her own business. You would think it's not your business. It could be your child tomorrow. So I think I'm overflogging this whole thing. Boarding house has its own advantages. Yeah, it does. It has its own advantages. And you need to have some guidelines. From time to time, call in your child's school. Call in. When you go, tell a senior student to take care of your child. The first step is getting the right school. The first step is getting the right school. How do you know that the school is right for your child? You know how you want your child to turn. Every school has values. Every school has mission. Their mission statement, their vision, what they are known for. Yeah, this is Africa. That is Africa. Abroad, you don't correct a child anyhow. You might be arrested. Yes. We're talking about intentional parenting. You need to learn the methods of correcting these children. Yeah, so that abroad is true. I agree. You hardly even speak to people that you don't know. The child can say you're a kidnapper or something. Yeah, I agree with you. In Africa here, we do communal raising of kids. So, as a parent, I don't totally rule out boarding house. There are circumstances that could be beyond your control. I know this young lady, Choma is her name. Choma was a boarder from primary school. I went to Madonna Nursery and Primary School, Owerri. It's owned by Reverend Sisters, or it's run by Reverend Sisters. Then, I don't know about now, then kids could stay in the convent. Chioma was from my place. Chioma's mom was a politician. So she was put in the boarding house because her mom, I think I didn't know about her dad. I only knew her mom. So I think she was raised by a single mom. So the woman, knowing her movement, looked for a good school to put her. She turned out well, to the best of my knowledge. I think we also went to the same secondary school. She turned out well to the best of my knowledge. So there could be circumstances beyond a person's control. You could be, if you're a frequent traveler and you don't want to leave, nannies are not better. Nannies are not better if you're a frequent traveler. So I don't totally rule out boarding school. All I'm saying is apply precautions. Select a good school. The school's value must align with your own values. That is their value on paper first. Because sometimes what you see is not what you get. You want to buy meat pie, and if you open it, it's only potato that is inside. So it's possible. And then get insider information. How do you get insider information? Look for people that are attending that school, both junior and both senior students. And then you get that insider information from them. That's how you know. And then you also get information from an older person. That's how you select. And when you get, and you say this school is okay for my child, as you go, hand your child over to, number one, a senior student. Welcome, Nikki. Welcome, Ashanti Nikki. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about the boarding school. Would you send your kids, owing to the recent happening, would you send your child to the boarding school? Tell us if you attended the boarding school yourself. You can share your experience with us. Tell us why you would or you would not allow your child to attend the boarding school. So currently I'm talking about precautions to take when sending your child out there. You then hand your child over to a guardian. You should have the number of a guardian. Check on your child. Gone are those days children emaciate in boarding house. Like they know they emaciate again. If your pikin enter boarding house, can't lean too much. Bring that child out. What emaciates them? In our own time, we were the ones cleaning. We were the ones cleaning the hostels. But these days, they hire people who clean. They hire people who clean. In our own time, the food was not nutritious as more, so much nutritious. Yeah, it wasn't. Watery beans, watery this, jollof rice that is almost white. But now children are being well fed. What will emaciate your child in the boarding house? Yeah, environmental change can make your child lose a little weight, but not beyond your recognition. So when you see that child who used to be so robust going down, you need to start asking questions. You need to start talking and start getting your child to talk. Check in on your children. Listen, pay attention. They should have a voice of their own. Before you send your child out there, equip your child. Okay, Ashanti says, I myself didn't go to a boarding school. Do you know anybody that attended, a close relative? Let us know what was the experience for them like. So you watch out. Do your homework. Teach your children to stand up for themselves. Teach them to speak out. And then that's on the part of the abused. What about the abusers? Because the story we're hearing is that one of the children, they've been flown abroad. A special place is reserved in hell. Not even, I've already said it, that their hell will begin here on earth. For parents who cover evil for their children. I'm not covering for you. I will not. When you start covering your child, a special place, you will see your hell here on earth. That a child's life has gone and you are sending your own child. See, these are the kind of things that make people to go to Allah Obaka. You will kill my child and send your child abroad. I'ma hunt your child down. I'ma hunt you child. Okay, that's on a lighter note. But these are the kinds of things that make people to go extreme. Go extreme. Even if it's not physically, diabolically, they will go extreme. You cannot kill my child and protect your child. I did not pick my own. Nabona. So, on the child part of the abused, like I said, parents are not, in fact, they can't give what they don't have. There was a story I shared on my Facebook. Yes, whatever a man sows, that he shall reap. See, the law of sowing and reaping doesn't apply to only Christians. The law of there are principles that apply on earth, the universe. People who believe in the universe and what it is sending. People who do traditional religion, they are universal principles. Sowing and reaping is one. It is a universal principle. You will definitely reap it. So I think the story I shared about a young lady who said that she was dating this young man, and then she knows the guy is a G guy, yo. She knows the guy is a Yahoo guy, Yahoo Plus. It's not even ordinary Yahoo. And she's dating him. And then she noticed that the guy was getting down financially. And then the guy's mother told her, how can you be here? Your boyfriend that you want to marry, things are not going well for him, and you're folding your hands. Come, let us go. I will share it on my community. I shared it on my Facebook. Come, let us go. She said they took her to a pastor. The pastor finished washing her hand and be washing her face. She said she started smelling, that she's decaying. Remember that it's the boy's mother that took this girl. So it means that the boy's mother is aware that his son is a Yahoo person. And being aware, she is aiding and abetting him. Now you people have used the girlfriend. When there are no longer girlfriends to use and that boy's life is at stake, you think he will not sacrifice you that is the mother? What's so special? He will sacrifice you. So whatever monster that you are grooming, if you're grooming a monster, it will bite you. It's just like when you go and take a wild animal from the bush, a baby animal, a baby lion, a baby tiger, a baby wild animal. Even dog safe. Even dog, if he red, the dog will bite you. When you take a baby wild animal and you're grooming it, nurturing it, feeding it, when there's no longer food, it's going to eat you. That's the gospel truth. So I think we should do more. We should begin to do more. We should begin to be crusaders, compassionate people at heart, kind people, and then we should be that voice. Like I said, you won't see me where they are maltreating anybody. I can't remember if I was a bully. If I was, I'm sorry. I didn't know what I was doing. But I know I didn't bully anybody to that extent. In fact, I can't remember that. Because I know that then there was a mentality that when you were a junior student, you'll be punished. And when you become a senior student, you punish others. But you would not see me where they are maltreating someone, even up till date. Several times. In fact, the one that happened recently, this young man, the story is something I'm ashamed to even tell. So we were on a journey. You know how when you stop halfway on the journey, for some people to go and urinate. So some young ladies went to urinate. I went with them. I wasn't feeling pressed, but I knew we're not going to stop at another place. So I said, let me try. So because I'm not comfortable opening my body around, I allowed the other ladies to be urinating. And one young man walked in and he was like, they don't urinate there, blah, 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 blah. He said it and he was looking at them, saying it. These are young girls that are easing themselves. He's looking at them. Okay, let's say the first time was a mistake. He went back, came back again. I told him, Why are you bent on seeing naked people? You cannot go and watch it on your phone. You have said what you want to say. Why should you be looking at them saying it? You know what they came here to do. The young man was like, is it, are they, what is it? Do they have gold in their body? I said they have gold. What is it that they have that my wife doesn't have? I say, you come and open your own. Their husbands have your own. Come and open it. Let them see. So you cannot see me there. So we should be those crusaders and teach our children the same. So it was obvious that this young man, in fact, the young man even said that if I talk, he will come and strip me naked. I said, now you talk, waiting, carry you come here. Maybe he was even following me to see my own nakedness, but sorry to burst his bubbles. I'm conscious about that. So when you are silent to evil, you are contributing to the evil. I think this live stream has become so long, so we're going to cut it short. Thank you for attending. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Mercy. Thank you, Ashanti Nikki. Thank you, Lizzie Charles Ministries. Thank you, Amaka Dumije. Thank you, Matilda Inspiration TV and Empire. Thank you, Watcher Irene. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Irene Henry TV. Thank you, Lizzie Charles Ministries. Thank you, Mary Ibe. Thank you to everyone who joined us. I think somebody joined again. Thank you, Kathy Chooks. Please, if I didn't mention your name, is a huge oversight. Thank you for joining us. So the summary of the entire thing is, body house is not the evil. There are systems. And then there's something I did not mention. Yeah, thank you. There's something I didn't mention. These days, when I said you should know the vision of the schools, lots of schools are money conscious. They don't want to lose any students. Imagine a school they are paying 100, 200, 300, 400, 500,000. It's business for them. It wasn't that way before. School is a calling. Teaching anything regarding school is a calling. Because these children spend almost more time in school now than at home. And when they come to you, nurture them. If you're not passionate about raising a good generation, close down your school. It should be something that you are passionate about. It's not the same. Now, children, the only punishment in school is naughty corner. I'm not saying they should be flogging people's children, because if you wound my child, I will not. But then, I mentioned the school that my cousin sent the daughter to. When you're coming, they tell you on time that we expel like water here. We don't need the number. If you're not going to abide by rules and regulations, out. We're expelling you. They said they expel even a day to your WAEC. So schools should not be afraid of expelling bad eggs. By the time they expel your child in 10 schools, you will know that your child has become a terrorist, a Boko Haram member. So know the vision of the school. Thank you. I think I'll just cut it. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining in. I really appreciate. Thank you. I'll return the favor, and then hopefully, if you're yet to connect, please do well to connect, and see you in the next video. Bye. Thank you. I think I'll be off. Thank you for joining.